This is what has happened to every single one of them for the past 2 years that I've been watching them. And they've become huge clusters, and that's how you see those large UFOs, the hexahedrons that I keep filming, used to be on a daily basis. Now it's once in a while. But that doesn't mean they've gone away. They're still here. They're just not showing themselves. But when they do, I try to capture them on video. So again, you can see those other entities in the background. That's really what I'm focusing on today. That there are other entities. And look at the trees. Look at the trees. They're just filled with them. Every tree in Toronto, and there are millions of trees in Toronto, we have lots of parks. Every tree in Toronto looks exactly the same. I don't care if it's in your house, it looks exactly the same. Just check that out. Those are all microscopic little particles that I call them, but they're real, smaller clusters. They range in all kinds of size. See, those are slightly larger, but there are even smaller than them, and smaller than those, and smaller. They can be infinitely small or infinitely large. It all depends how many clusters get together to form a particular entity cluster, and then you can sort of judge its size by the particular entity, but every entity can subdivide itself into countless smaller and smaller units that cannot even be seen with a microscope. They're subatomic. And when they combine together, they can be gigantic, much larger than the entire planet Earth, much larger than our sun, much larger than any star. In space, there's no limit. I think these things can form stars because of the heat that they produce. If enough of them get together, they can generate enough heat to be a star. And I don't know what's happening on our planet and why they're all here, but I hope they're not turning the Earth into a star. Because look how many of them there are. Every single tree in this entire city is like that. And I don't care who wants to say what. This is the true thing about the trees in Toronto. They're all like that. And I've proven this over and over and over. And I have 1,300 videos about on my channel that show you that this is true. And you can just see all the entities there in the background. And all the milky white substance, those are microscopic entities, just like the large cluster. There is absolutely no difference in the composition and the makeup of those microscopic clusters than the large cluster that you see there, because they're all the same. Just one is larger and the rest are smaller. And that's the only difference. Actually, they're all the same. They do the same things, they're capable of the same things, just on different scales. The smaller clusters have much higher vibration frequencies than the large cluster, because they're smaller and they turn faster around their own radius, and they orbit their own nucleus faster. And then when they orbit the large cluster, they also orbit faster because they're smaller. The larger orbs don't orbit as fast, but all of them can go super fast, fast enough so that you cannot even see them. Okay, what you're looking at now is them in slow motion. Okay, this is where they're making clusters, and they're not in a hurry to do that. They're taking their time because they want to make them right. You can just see there's another one forming there between the first small one and the second small one from the left side. There's going to be another one forming right there. So I don't know what process that is. It's a type of cloning and replication. and it's putting all those little minuscule size clusters together into a larger unit. That's actually what's happening. And the clusters on the bottom, they're particle accelerators that accelerate the other particles into the larger cluster at a certain speed, so that they can be ready to be put into a cluster bigger than themselves and be able to glow. So that's what's happening there. It's an exchange of particles between the large cluster and the smaller clusters, and it's all about velocity. The whole thing depends on velocity, so that the particle can enter a cluster. You can just see how many are in the air flying about. Those things are so small, we breathe them in and don't think anything of it. The air is full of them. There's no way of avoiding it. No matter where you are, it's not just Toronto, it's every place on Earth. The whole planet is like that. There's absolutely no difference here or in China or in the Soviet Union or anywhere else, wherever you want to be. United States, Canada, all the same. No matter where you are on Earth, the situation is the same. These things are everywhere, and they're not going away. And denying them, disputing them, making fun of people who say that they're here is not going to work. It won't change anything. It's not going to make these things disappear or go away or not do what they came here to do.